So this video is going to show you how to make books flying in the library.
So here's our finished Cinema 4D scene with the books flying overhead. And you notice they'll go in front of our actors in the foreground, and that's okay. We're going to take that out in After Effects. What we just want is the books to fly in the scene. We want our camera to match our scene, and we want our vanishing point to be the same so that they look like they're in the scene. It's all about creating the illusion that they're there. So let's take this over. Let's start this shot over. So here we have a book, and this book is free on TurboSquid. There's a bunch of books there, just search for them. If you don't have to build a bunch of models for a scene in a crunch, then don't, just download them for free. So let's load our camera in. So let's go in here, right click, go to camera calibrator. Now camera calibrator is what makes it so the vanishing point matches the vanishing point in our shot, and we'll look at that. Let's just choose any of these frames. You can save these frames out from After Effects or Premiere or whatever you're using. Just save the frames out and then as JPEG or whatever. So here in our camera calibrator, let's go to calibrate and then add a line. And this line will be, we follow the lines in the scene as best we can. If there's furniture or something that may have been moved and doesn't match the squareness of, these 90-degree angles. So here let's add this to a line, and let's add this up farther on the same line, and this is our Z. So let's go hold shift down and click on it until it is blue, which is Z. And okay, let's add another line, and we need to get a few lines so that it knows, so the scene knows what the axes are. So this is another Z. So we can click here, shift click, tell it's blue, and then now it knows what Z is. So let's add another line. Let's find X. So X should be this line, and click on another point. Now let's hold shift down until it is red, I believe. Yes. So red is X. Let's find another X. Here's X. Here's X. So let's shift click to X. And now it knows Z and X, and it's guessing what Y is, but it's good to, we know we have a line here, so let's follow that line. And some of your scenes won't have nice lines like this, and you will have to guess more or less what is X and Y with these lines. So here, let's go shift click to green. So there's Y. And it says that it's been solved. It says indirectly solved here. Well, let's add another line and directly solve it. So let's add a line here, down Y, and click until it's green. Okay, so it's solved now, but now we need to add a pin, and that pin is where the zero of your scene is. So it's where the very center of your scene where objects will be loaded and that sort of thing. We need to tell it this where it will be, and it's nice to have it right about where we want our main action to be happening. So let's place it here in the center, and now say create camera mapping tag, and let's also create a background object. So now let's let go of this tag by just clicking off, and let's go to cameras, use camera, and then select our new camera. And if you have multiple cameras in the scene, it's good to rename that. Let's rename it our Now you notice this book is on the same axis as our scene. It all kind of makes sense. Now you'll have to adjust a few things with size here. So this book is humongous, and we see here it's not that large. So let's just go here and go edit scale project, and let's put this, well, whatever. We just kind of want physics and that sort of thing in the world to kind of make more sense. So let's say scale to 10. Okay, that's a foot. Um, that's reasonable. Well, we want act no way. We want this way more. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, there. Because now we want this book to be very small. So let's go edit scale project. Target scale 0.9, 0.8. I don't know math. I don't care. Okay, well, let's just figure out how to make this book move. Okay, so let's put this book at 0 position, 0, 0, rotation 0, 0, 0. That way we have full control. Let's create a null, create object null, and let's place our object inside that null, and so that we can move this null independently of the object. Let's create a new null and put it inside there. Now we can move this book around and create keyframes, but it's really nice. This is a really nice little treasure that I use quite a bit. I may use too much, but it's called vibrate, and you right click, send 40 tags, and then vibrate. And then once you've got it, you can do things like rotation, and then change the frequency, and then press play, and our book kind of flies around on its own. So let's turn this down to about 6. Let's do frequency 0.1, so it'll move a lot slower. Let's do 0.01. And now it's moving very slowly. Wait, I think we have a vibrate already. Okay, that was my problem. Sorry. Okay, we just need to add, we can do things like turn position on, then it kind of moves back and forth. This kind of creates the effect that it's magical and it doesn't just look like CG that's sitting there. Okay, now we can take our top null and rotate that while our book is still moving independent of that, so we don't have to move it in every, we don't have to keyframe its movements. So I'm going to make the book just fly back because it looks cooler from this angle. Now we just need to lift this up and it'll be above, and it looks like it's in our scene floating. So this kind of shot only really works if you have a still shot like this one. You you can do the same things with this and then move the camera or keyframe it, but usually for a moving shot we will track it in After Effects and export that camera data to Cinema 4D. You could use other programs for tracking, but uh, yeah. So let's move this up. Doesn't have to be coming out of this. You can mask it so it looks as if it is coming out of this. So let's just hit keyframe here and make sure this one is selected. Let's call it the mover. So let's keyframe our mover and see it places a nice little keyframe here. And let's click on that and hit linear so that it isn't a spline, and you can play around with that, but you'll see what that does. Okay, so let's move this over. Let's say this is the end of our shot, so let's move this over here, and you see it's exiting our frame. That doesn't matter, we'll fix that in After Effects. So here we have our book. That's very fast. So what we'll need to do is just grab this keyframe and you can pull it down the timeline to 130 something, and then our book floats. Let's make it even slower. I don't always trust time in here because it needs to load each frame and therefore it doesn't play in real time. So we have our book floating. Now all we need to do is add some more books, do the same thing. We can take this book, uh, create a new null, put it under that null. Bunch of nulls. Okay, here. Copy it, rotate it, and we have the same effect. Cool. We can move it all around, make sure they don't hit each other. Change the textures on the books, move them farther away, make them move slower by moving keyframes, and that's how you make books float in Cinema 4D. I just went through there, but we can fix it. Just move it away. But yeah, that's how you make books float in Cinema 4D. All right, thanks guys. Bye.